Welcome to the OvenGleamers World Podcast, helping you navigate oven cleaning as a business, marketing tips, interviews, and agar cooking tips and news. Now, here's your host, Graham Rogers.
It's Graham Rogers, the founder of OvenGleamers, the oven cleaning franchise. And in this episode, I would like to talk about oven cleaning business training. Because yesterday I had a call from somebody. He is inquiring about training. Now, training is something we don't do anymore, except for in our franchise package. So you buy a franchise from us, and then we train you to become a professional oven cleaner. And the process I go through, I've developed my own training way of training over the years, and it originates from when we started growing the business. So I started in 2004 with just me in a van, and then within 18 months, I was booked up 5 weeks in advance. So I needed to take somebody on, and the first person I took on was. We went through an interview process, and we took on this guy, and I was living in Wiltshire at the time, and this guy was actually living in Taunton, so it's quite a drive for me to go and pick him up. So I was driving all the way down to Taunton to pick him up to go out and clean ovens in that area, because I thought it would make it easier so that if we did ovens locally. And in all, I went through like a really sort of a process. This training process took me, it seemed like forever. I think we went on for about 4 or 5 weeks, me worrying whether I'll actually got them up to standard or working out, just feeling in myself whether I felt I was confident to let him go out on his own to clean ovens for my business. And we went through all this process, and then right at the end, he said, sorry, I've been told by my doctor, or it was a consultant actually, because he'd been going to hospital. So whilst we were going through training, he was going off and going off to hospital for a consultant check. He didn't actually tell us what it was about. And what he said, so we finished the training, just about to go in the van, and he said, sorry, but my consultants told me that I cannot clean ovens because I've got a problem with my knee. And apparently he'd done this before he actually joined us. He'd done it in a taekwondo martial arts fight. He'd injured his leg, injured his knee. So that was about, I think I had about 3 weeks before I went away. So what happened was I was getting booked up in advance. I was getting really worn out, so we decided to go on a holiday for Christmas. And as Christmas, at Christmas time, you go through a busy period, and then after Christmas, it can be quite quiet. So we decided we'd go away on that quieter period. So all we needed somebody to do was to cover my jobs. So that's the reason I was training somebody up. Now, so when this guy backed out, we were a bit stuck. So what we had to do, I had to go back and choose one of the other candidates who we'd interviewed, and then I had only 2 weeks to train him up at. So it was, so I went from being a very long laboured training to me pushing everything in to get this guy trained up in 2 weeks. And we managed it. So I went off on my holiday. He carried on. He did all the jobs perfectly, and we didn't have any complaints at all. And so from that, I realised that I could train somebody a lot faster than my first attempt. So the next time I trained somebody, I did it even less time. I trained them for a week, but instead of doing all the sort of ovens, I just concentrated on doing standard size ovens. So I concentrated on doing standard size single ovens, standard size double ovens. We did that for a week, and then off they went on their own, and we booked in the guy 3 jobs from his first day. So he did the week of training with me, and then the next week, so the following Monday, he'd already been booked in 3 jobs a day. And that seemed to work. So we did that. And then what we did later on, a few weeks down the line, I think we probably waited till he's up to speed, so everything was going fine. We would then give him some extra training on how to clean ranges. And then later on, we did like an ARGA training course with them. Basically, I went out with them for a couple of days to make sure that they could clean ARGAs up to our standard. So that's the process we go through with our employees. And from that, when I started training people because initially when I started training people to start their own businesses, I did it, it wasn't on a franchise basis, I just ran courses. I think I trained about 10 people before I actually started franchising. And then, so I developed the way of training people, going through those people. And then when we started franchising, we initially we did a week's practical training. So, and my practical training was, we do a bit in the office with ovens, which we had and we still have in the office, and then we go out and do real jobs. But what I wanted to do, what I worked out after a while, was that 7 days was a bit too short because we couldn't really cover the ranges and the ARGAs. So what I've done now is I've actually extended it to 7 days practical training, and then my wife does some business training for another 3 days. So in all, it becomes 2 weeks of training, and then obviously we do additional training afterwards. We've got a training. We have training sessions, practical training sessions, and meetups every quarter, and my wife does online webinars monthly. Anyway, so that's a process. That's a process I've gone through, and really, when somebody comes on my course, I make sure that they cover everything and they know how to clean everything. And also, for example, I'm currently training a franchisee at the moment, our new franchisee for Wolverhampton. I do other things, like there are some key things that I feel are important to actually ensure that the person can do the job in a faster way, and it goes down to things like technique of using blades, using scrapers. There is a technique of using them. There is a way to use them that makes them more efficient, and doing jobs where you do things in exactly the same way. So right down to the point of actually when you pick things up to dry things. So for example, what we did yesterday, I was training him around the back of the van. So we were putting stuff into the tank and then taking stuff out and going through the process of rinsing it off, drying it, and then taking it back into the house. That process, I've got a process where I even in the aspect of actually holding things, I've got a set way of doing it. So the process I've developed over the years is one which I think is the optimum way of taking somebody through all the things they need to know to run a professional oven cleaning business. Now, the reason I'm doing this episode today is because I got a call yesterday from somebody who was interested in training, and obviously, as I said, I told him we don't do training, but he'd been told by some other people, I thought they were funny actually. Somebody told him that an electric system, because we use an electric system isn't any good because it just takes too long to heat up. Now, with my system, I've currently, I'm recording this first thing in the morning now, just before I go out training again, and I've just plugged my tank in. Plugged it in about an hour ago actually, and I know now if I go across there to check it, it's sat outside my office. I know it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot and ready to go for the day. So It's just a case of me getting up a bit early to go across and plug it in. And then that's it, it's ready. And then for the rest of the day, I don't do anything in the way of plugging in or heating up. It's hot. I don't do anything at all. I just drive to each job, put the stuff in the back, take the stuff out, rinse it. It's the contrast between the way we do things and, for example, a gas system. Well, I was saying that there are different gas systems. Some people use them in a different way. For example, some companies, they get to a job, they go into the house, they bring out water, they heat it up. A really long process. Other companies keep a tank in the back of their vans, and they do a similar sort of thing to what we do. They heat it up at the beginning of the day. But with a gas system, they've also got to top up at each job. So even though it's maybe hot when they drive off to the job, they've still got to go through heating up the tank at every job to ensure that the temperature of the solution is up to its optimum. So I found that quite funny that somebody told him that it takes longer for electric system heat up. I think perhaps that person who told him that was misinformed. He probably thinks that we drive to each job and then we run out of cable to the house and then plug it in and then heat things up that way, which is obviously completely rubbish. I suppose if we did do that, then it would make it like a really long job. But we don't. It's I don't do that at all now. I don't think I've ever done it, actually. There was a time before we insulated the tank, so my tank's insulated completely. Before we insulated it, there was a time where I'd probably heat up again in the second part of the afternoon. So look, sort of towards later on in the afternoon, if I was doing a big job. So, for example, if I had a range booked in for, say, 2:30, 3 o'clock on the afternoon, then I would probably think I need to get my tank up a bit hotter, and then I would plug it in then. But I haven't done that for years, really. Since we've had this insulated tank, it stays, it's working 100%. There's no need to heat it up at all. And the other thing this guy asked me about was this guy I spoke to on the phone about training. He asked me about whether we did a combination of carpet cleaning training and oven cleaning training. Now, I've never done carpet cleaning, so I can't really say that it's a good business or a bad business. But I do know that people combine oven cleaning with carpet cleaning, or I should say they mainly the emphasis, I think, is carpet cleaning, and they may have a way of cleaning ovens as well. Like I've seen carpet cleaners with just like an oven cleaning kit in their van, but some obviously they want to arrange their van so they've got a more professional setup. So, for example, they may have a dip tank in the back, and then they may have an area in the middle where they have their carpet cleaning kit. But I've never really sort of looked at that. I've always wanted to be a professional oven cleaning business, so we've just concentrated on oven cleaning. And I think if I did the two, I don't think the day would be so efficient, because now, for example, oven cleaning, I just drive out, I just go to each job. It's all it's all much the same. It's all, I've got a really good routine and a way of cleaning things. If I was doing carpet cleaning as well, how would you fit them? I suppose you could rotate. You could do oven cleaning one week and then carpet cleaning the other week. But for me, I don't think I'd like it. I prefer just to do oven cleaning. Okay, right. So that's me talking about oven cleaning business training. Hopefully you've got something from that. Until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the OvenGleamers World Podcast. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe. Please tell all your friends and join us for our next episode.